How's it? Welcome back to the channel. So a friend of mine deals with pretty bad insomnia, and I'm by no means an authority on the topic. I don't even have insomnia that bad or that often, but I do got some thoughts on it, so I thought I'd share them here in case they happen to help anybody. And so the first one could seem a little counterintuitive. It's something I would specifically avoid in like my 20s and earlier in life because I felt like it would keep me awake at night and give me insomnia. But that is taking more naps, specifically to get very used to the process of falling asleep. Like if you're an adult, I feel like anything over 30, like a full-on adult, or say if you're averaging like 6 hours or less of sleep a night, it's probably really easy for you to fall asleep. And it's probably something that you would like to do and enjoy doing given the chance. But one of the good things about it being easy to fall asleep at nap time is that it gives you the perfect opportunity to really pay attention and watch the process of falling asleep. And then that can give you a roadmap to follow and a routine to follow at night when you're going to bed. It's kind of like some people would like to watch TV as they fall asleep because it kind of just distracts them from thinking about whatever happened in the daytime that's keeping them awake. And then they can kind of just drift off, get lost in these thoughts in their head and fall asleep. So these thoughts in your head that you're getting lost in these images, that's called hypnagogic images. It's classic stage 1 of sleep stuff. So by getting used to watching that process when you're taking a nap, that's actually the exact process of falling asleep. So it's like it's giving you the exact roadmap that you want to follow. So naps can be really amazing. Plus, it also has the added benefit of potentially having a wild awake initiated lucid dream, which is basically when you go from stage 1 directly into REM, which typically won't happen most of the times when you fall asleep at night. You go like stage 1, stage 2, then like 3, 4 in the first couple seconds of sleep. But when you can have a wild and go directly from stage 1 into REM, that is some of the coolest experiences in life, fucking guaranteed. I mean, if you've never had one, or if you have had one, let me know in the comments. But man, they're awesome. You can basically, you're watching this hypnagogic imagery lucidly, because of course you can learn to stay there while keeping your conscious awareness intact and observing it and even controlling it in certain ways, of which I got a whole bunch of videos on that if you want to look it up. But then when you can watch that process of kind of seeing like this screen image to actually being like sucked in and getting full on REM style sleep where it's like, waking life type imagery, you're in the middle of it. It's super awesome experience to have. So that's another added benefit to doing hypnagogic meditation. Oh, also, and this is one that's been screwing me up the last like 7+ months, as I've gotten completely sucked back into video games. Like typically my time to play games, like when everybody goes to sleep before bed, and lately it's been like Call of Duty, which just gets me so amped up, that like when I'm trying to go to bed, I'm busy thinking about how much I suck at the game, or oh yeah, I finally had a fucking good game. And it just makes it harder to kind of wind down and fall asleep. So having quiet time before bed can be super important. Also, like lately I've been hopping in the sauna right before bed, and I find that to be great for a few reasons, and I'll make I'm coming up with a series on that in a little bit. But it gives me quiet time in the sauna where I can't really do anything, right? I'm not playing games in the sauna. I'm sitting there watching some shit on my phone or something. So it gives me a good chance to really quiet the mind down. Plus it's dark in there, which is good. You kind of want to cut down on a bunch of bright light as you're falling asleep. Kind of on the light thing too is, try to darken the house some, right? You don't want all these bright ass lights on at nighttime. So try to darken the house where you can, even if you're watching TV and pumping your eyeballs full of all this bright blue light, you can get blue light blocking glasses. That can kind of help there too. Even like when I'm brushing my teeth, I like to even keep the lights off for that. So like we had a bunch of night lights when our kids were growing up. So like I would just kind of use a little night light right there by the sink so I can brush my teeth with that light and not have to turn the full on light on. Also, I like to take a shower directly before bed. First of all, because I like to feel clean and shit. But also, it kind of gives me a chance to kind of cool off. So every time we're going to sleep, that's like when your body temperature is getting amongst the lowest it is throughout the entire 24-hour process. And dropping your internal body temperature is just a natural process of falling asleep. So doing what you can to aid that can really be helpful, which sounds kind of counterintuitive, but actually the sauna, which I found out listening to a podcast, which is why I'm doing this little experiment with the sauna before bed. Even though the sauna really cooks you in the sauna, once you come out and give yourself some time to really fully cool off and start to calm down from it, it actually lowers your internal body temperature once you're done cooking. So that's why they say the sauna is great for sleep, and it has been working pretty good the last few days. Keep the place dark, or even try to keep your room dark. And so sometimes people don't have the option to make their room like pitch black dark, but then you can always just wear eye mask, or I like to put like a pillow right over my eyes, kind of make the place dark. That can help. Also, earplugs. Earplugs have been the hugest game changer for me the last few years. Where for a long time I was just too paranoid to wear earplugs, thinking like some bad guy's gonna come in the house or something, or my kids will cry upstairs. Of which works out perfect for me because my other half, she doesn't wear earplugs, so when the kids are crying, she can wake me up if we have to get them. But it's particularly great for light sleepers like me, like potentially some of you might be out there. So earplugs take a while to get used to, but can be huge. Even if you have tinnitus like I do, I have a different series on that. I won't get too sidetracked, but have some stuff on there where you can kind of get past the whole tinnitus ear ringing thing. They also have different types of earplugs. Some will block out a lot more sound than others, so depending on what level of silence you want, you can get different types of earplugs. Also having the bed set, so this is kind of out of order here, but getting back to kind of the routine of sleep, have specific positions and a bed setup that you like to sleep in. So for me, I even have it set up to where like my back is sore, I gotta sleep in a certain position. I have all my pillows. I'm a fucking pillow guy. I got like 6+ pillows when I sleep every night, but I have it set up exactly how I want it, which pisses my wife off a lot of times because, she'll want me to spoon or hug all night. I'm like, man, that's not my sleeping position. Anyway, circadian rhythm is huge too. Try to sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time every day. And if you're trying to march your time back some, say you want to sleep earlier to get more sleep, you can move it back in little increments, of course, can work. But also what I like to do is, just fuck that. I just go like full on. If I've been sleeping at like 12 or 1 o'clock every night and I want to start sleeping at 9, I just bite that bullet and start sleeping at 9. And what I find is it doesn't take that long to reset that clock. So if you give it like a week, I think you'd be surprised. Now, granted, that week might suck and you'll be really bored, but I think you'd be surprised on how fast you can adjust that new sleep schedule. Also, pay attention to when you feel tired. It's like a lot of times people may feel tired. Like for me, it just happens around like 8:30, 9 o'clock when I'm putting the kids to sleep. I tend to feel pretty tired then, and I feel like I could sleep, but then I want to stay up to play video games or whatever. And then once I get past that and hit like 10, 11, 12 o'clock, I get like all wide awake again. So being aware of that and paying attention to it, and then if you want to sleep earlier, when you start to naturally feel tired, even if you feel like you're sleeping too early, you're wasting some time, or you want to go do something else, if you want to prioritize sleep then. I think you'd be surprised how fast you fall asleep. And then the last one is setting time frames. So for me, it takes me on average like 20 to 30 minutes to fall asleep, but I really give myself 1 hour. So if I spend 1 hour lying in bed trying to fall asleep, that is no problem. I'm totally cool with it. Plus, I'm doing that whole hypnagogic meditation thing, so I kind of have something to do while I'm lying in bed bored. But then I also do have I have a fail-safe. Now, this can lead to a slippery slope, and you don't want to be reliant on sleep aids. But for me, if I start to hit like that 2 hour plus mark, that's for me is when I say, fuck it, I'm gonna go take some Benadryl. I like to take Benadryl versus like NyQuil or something like that. Of course, the problem with that is with both of those, it takes like, for me at least like an hour or so to even kick in. So it's been 2 hours or so. I take the Benadryl, then I gotta lie in bed for another like hour before I fall asleep. But at least that way you will fall asleep, and you can I find even having that belief that you will fall asleep, like you're stuck in bed, you finally take the Benadryl or whatever, having that belief helps you fall asleep. So that can be really beneficial. Oh, and then lastly, something I find a lot happens to me, and I bet happens to a lot of you guys out there, is that if you pay attention, when you're having insomnia and feeling like you're stuck awake in bed all the time or for a long time, oftentimes, at least for me, I'm dreaming of being in bed trying to fall asleep, and I don't realize it because it still feels like me just sitting there thinking like, fuck, I wish I was sleeping. But one way you can tell for sure if you were in REM or not, and this is both for men and women, I just think it's easier for men to check than it is for women, is that if you are in REM, you're going to be aroused. So if you ever are like lying in bed and don't realize you got an erection at the moment, then all of a sudden you're like lying in bed thinking you are awake and you got a boner going on, well, at that point, you were actually sleeping and you weren't actually awake. You were dreaming of being awake in bed. So that's just a kind of funny thing that, I don't know, just for your information, I guess.